If we then look at how you could kind of take multiple files together and generate reports, you could really have different routes to say, okay, I want to look at an attribute that defines what type of report is this, to define is this a clinical report, is it an IMPD, is it a study report, is it a SOP or a training guide? And depending on the value of that, you might take different routes in the workflow to say, here are the options I want, or the elements I want for the report of that type as well. So we basically have some routing to look at the piece of metadata and then take different routes depending on the value of it. So in this case, I'm just looking at the document type. If it's clinical, it will take one route. If it's IMPD, it'll take a different route. And everything else will take one other route. What that would mean is if I take, what all I'm doing then, all I'm left to do is create a zip file, basically create the collection of content. It's the only thing that you have to do manually is define what content needs to be included in that report. And in something like SharePoint, there's no virtual documents or binders like you may have in a Documentum or a Kara repository or Viva. You can create a zip file or a folder, and that will be the starting point. You'll be saying, okay, I want to take this collection of documents, and then the rest of it, will be automated. You just create that zip file, and then it would automatically go through the workflow, be picked up by the workflow. Everything will be converted into PDF. All the individual documents will be created to PDF. They'll all be merged in the correct order. Cover pages will be added. Again, leveraging metadata, so you could apply automatically elements of metadata, include those in the cover page, instead of having to have fixed text, etc. Add headers and footers automatically. Apply pagination at a report level. So you may have document pagination. You may need to have a report level pagination as well. Tables of contents can be added to cover the entire content of your report. Watermarks applied. You may need to split the file up at the end. So instead of it being one single PDF file that's enormous, due to file size limits and restrictions in the guidelines, you may want to break it up based on the file size or the number of pages. If you're as old as I am and remember paper publishing where it was 300 to 400 page binders, you can split it up either by page count or by file size. At the end, each individual file that's created, whether it's one single file or multiple split volumes, each one of those will be fully compliant and saved back into the repository, either SharePoint or wherever else you need. So ultimately, all of that is manual. The only thing, is automated. The only manual step left is the first one, just to create the zip file or the collection of content that makes up the report, and that's it. The rest of it's fully automatic. You don't need separate tools for each of these. So if I look at what that would look like in the SharePoint, I'm using a zip as an example. I got basically a 2.6 non-clinical summary zip file, and that's just a zip file that's made up of multiple 2.6.x documents inside it. And if I was to then process that, either it could create a single PDF file, as in the yellow box, that would be one single PDF file for the entire collection, or I could have split it up. In this case, I simply said, I want that to be split up into 10 megabyte files, for example, and then it's actually created, in this case, 9 separate volumes. They're all the same report, but it's just split based on file size or page count. And you can define the naming structure, the naming methods for this as well. And what that would look like if you open them up is ultimately a PDF or PDF series of PDFs that has the bookmarks, the relevant bookmarks for either the entire report or just for that section if it's been split up. You have your cover page that includes metadata like the report name pulled from SharePoint, the health authorities involved, who last modified the report, who was created by, etc. Any metadata value can be applied automatically here. And of course, tables of contents can be added. And again, these are tables of contents that span across multiple documents, all of the documents in the report, and again, fully automatically generated. Any link of any kind or any bookmark will, of course, be compliant. Everything will be set to inherit zoom, hyperlinks will be blue, etc. All of those things will be defined as well automatically when the PDFs are created.